Digital citizenship. Digital health and wellness. Digital health and wellness is important because it helps us have good relationships with people and stay in the real world. A balanced lifestyle should be balanced between online interactions and real-life interactions. You should spend more time with friends than online, whether you're with online friends or not. Adjust the monitor and chair so that it is comfortable to your liking. Your head should be centered to the middle of the screen. You shouldn't have to bend your arms and wrists too much. Have the chair's arms parallel with the keyboard. Your legs should be at a 90-degree angle. Make sure the room has good lighting so that there's no glare on the screen. Take a break about every 20 minutes or so you don't strain your eyes. There are 4 rules to safe gaming. Number 4, don't bully others through gaming. Number 3, don't become an addict. Number 2, be aware of the violence in video games and its danger to our society. And the golden rule, stay in control. Digital awareness is all about being aware of what you put on the internet and how it might affect others or yourself. Here are a few ways to know whether it is appropriate to put it on the internet or not. Because once you post it, it can never come back. Number 1, if you wouldn't show your family, don't post it. Number 2, if you wouldn't do it or say it in real life, don't post it. And if you feel bad about it, don't post it. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Part 2, Digital Law. Now in this section, we will take a look at what exactly is digital law, the role it plays in our lives, the different kinds of digital law offenses, how to combat them, or more recently publicized offense, sexting, and how to prevent it. First up, you may ask, what is digital law? Well, digital law is known as your electronic responsibility for your actions or deeds online. Now, the teens reading a set of rules on their technological devices in the illustration shows a little exaggeration of what should be done by teens, and all people for that matter. Although it's not necessary to read each and every law before using a device, it is crucial that you gain a basic understanding of them to avoid breaking them. Section 1. An array of various law offenses. Although the majority of people tend to follow the digital law when using their devices, the sad truth is that in current day, digital law offenses are becoming a rapidly increasing problem. One major law offense in today's world is identity theft, which refers to the act of someone obtaining your personal information, for example your credit card number, and using it to buy and rent a number of things. For instance, in this illustration, it shows an imposter finding Bob's credit card number, probably through hacking or a virus. Then it shows him impersonating Bob by using his credit card number to buy a Rolex watch, and how poor Bob is so shocked by his credit card bill since although he himself didn't make that transaction, he will still have to pay for it. Therefore, this really addresses the significance of you properly securing your devices and all the content and data in them. A less known digital law offense is spoofing, which is known as the act of you being persuaded by other people to give them your personal info so that they could use it to gain personal benefits and or money. The cartoon below represents a common spoofing act in today's world by illustrating a girl receiving an offer of a free cruise getaway if she gives the speakers her credit card number, and she decides to do so. Unfortunately, the speakers are just 2 thieves trying to learn people's credit card number for their own selfish means. This just goes to say how important it is for you to use your common sense, not be so naive, and ask yourself critical questions when receiving an offer via an electronic device. A very well-known digital law offense is software piracy, which is basically the act of sharing unauthorized software on sites such as Pirate Bay. Within that, though, there are several different types, which includes industrial piracy, reseller piracy, and even home piracy. This picture illustrates a type of home piracy since illegally copied music from YouTube is being synced into their iPod. Sadly, most of us do commit this sort of piracy regularly, unintentionally of course, without knowing that this is breaking digital law. The truth is, in fact, that using a YouTube converter to download music is illegal. Instead, we should make it a point to pay for all our music via iTunes or Apple Store, etc., to ensure the proper credit is given to the rightful music owners. Now this perfectly leads into our next section, which is types of computer security software. This section will put some spotlight on several of them. One good example of this computer software is antivirus software, whose main role is to protect your computer against thousands of potential computer viruses and prevents your personal info from being shared on the web. In fact, there are also a great variety of different types of antivirus softwares. Needless to say, it is highly recommended that you install at least one of these into your own computer to ensure that your computer or laptop obtains the maximum protection. Another type of computer software is firewall, which monitors the web info between your computer and internet and prevents illegal access to your computer. Moreover, there are two different kinds of firewalls, one of which is the hardware firewall, which monitors the computer and internet, as well as the software firewall, which prevents unauthorized access to your computer. The cartoon shows an example of a hardware firewall being connected to someone's computer. Section 3. Sexting, a common teen digital law offense. Now in this section, we shall take a look at one of the most notorious digital law offenses committed by teens today and how it impacts their fellow peers and society. Now you may be thinking, what exactly is sexting? Well, to say the least, sexting is the act of producing, sharing, possessing sexually explicit nude or semi-nude photos of oneself to others online. Luckily, sexting mainly takes place in only 4 countries as of now: Australia, UK, Canada, and America, but it is becoming an increasingly problematic issue with more and more teens taking part in this crude activity as depicted by the picture below. Sexting's interference with Canadian law. Now, much to the contrary of many people's beliefs, sexting is in fact illegal under Canada's Criminal Code on Child Pornography, which depicts how the production and distribution of sexually explicit images of children younger than 18 is a criminal act. Although these laws do not apply to teens sharing these pics amongst themselves and limiting them between original partners, more than often this is not the case, since it is extremely easy in this day and age to share pics and info on the web with 1,000 or more viewers. Therefore, you do want to make these sort of digital choices properly, since there are chances that the police may have to get involved. Now you must be wondering, why on earth do teens sext then? Well, there are actually many factors that contribute to these choices, which includes peer pressure, seduction, since you might be hoping to spark a relationship with someone, rebelliousness by believing that you have the full right to make your own decisions, or even a sexual favor in exchange for another service. Speaking of consequences, our next section will look at the severe consequences of sexting and the grave effects it can have on individuals. One such a consequence is cyberbullying, which is when you face online bullying from peers as a result of your damaged reputation from your now circulated nude pictures. And that could be in the form of Facebook posts, tweets, online threats, or even texts. Now in this illustration, it shows one of the most devastating effects of cyberbullying, which is suicide, by illustrating a girl receiving various online insults via Twitter because of her sexting, and now she's considering suicide. This goes to show how we, as the senders or receivers of sexually explicit material, should think twice before pushing that send button or share or comment button, since the effects of our actions can be very disastrous either to ourselves or to others. Another major consequence of sexting is grooming, which occurs when online pedophiles or sexual predators use your pictures to blackmail you into providing more inappropriate pics of yourselves or others. In this case, a pedophile found some nude pics of a girl on Facebook and tried to blackmail her to send more pics unless she wants to get raped. Therefore, this is why we must be careful in deciding what to put up on social networking sites and not make the mistake of sexting, since our lives can be put into danger. Another consequence is the prevention of meeting future goals, in the sense that many companies search you up online when taking a job interview, and since these images can never be fully erased from cyberspace, if they notice something inappropriate, chances are they probably won't recruit you, since they need a positive representation of their company. This is why you must make critical decisions online, since the choices that you make today, for example for texting, may come back and haunt you tomorrow, as it did for Bob. Section 5. How to prevent teens from sexting. Luckily, although sexting is becoming a rapidly problematic issue, there are still many ways both teachers and parents can help prevent teens from sexting. One way is to maintain strict ground rules for online privileges, both at school and at home. But of course, at the same time, you should talk with them in a calm and rational way, since most teens are already reluctant to open up about their digital lives. This will teach them both respect and discipline, two qualities that can apply to any aspect of life, and not only with technology. In this scenario, a mother found out that her teenage boy was sexting, and therefore she banned him from texting for a month, rather. And even though he objected, it's a good discipline lesson for him. Another effective method for preventing teens from engaging in sexting is to promote peer support, since in most cases peers can give very effective guidance amongst themselves and can advocate for one another if they're unlikely to do it themselves. In this case, a girl made a huge mistake with her phone, probably because of sexting, and her friends helping her out with it. And so, in conclusion, hopefully now you've obtained a clear understanding as to how you could use electrical devices appropriately by not breaking the law, and how to protect yourself from various law offenses to ensure the well-being of all cyber users, hence becoming one step closer to becoming a good digital citizenship.
Communication. What is digital communication? Digital communication is the exchange of information electronically. Recently, there has been a huge amount of change and development in digital communication. One of the significant changes within the digital revolution is a person's ability to communicate with other people. The expanding digital communication options have changed everything because people are able to keep in constant communication with anyone else. Anyone is afforded the opportunity to access information anywhere and anytime. Examples: buying things online from websites such as Amazon or eBay, and email, instant messaging, text messaging, telephones, cell phones, walkie-talkies, and video containing information, online announcement, and many others. Social. Digital communication, like almost everything in this world, have both positive and negative sides to it. On the positive side, it has helped bring people around the world closer together, and it's resulting in more globalization. People can communicate with family and friends live far away and know that they are safe. Digital communication can also give people knowledge. If you have a question that you don't know the answer, you can post it online and wait for people to answer. Another good thing about digital communication is that it can provide people with help. A very good real example of this is a boy named John. John has been getting his therapy online ever since his father's death. On the negative side, digital communication can expose young children and teenagers to things that can affect them very negatively. For example, cyberbullying. A real example of this is a 13-year-old girl named Megan Mayer who befriended a boy online. For a while, they were good friends, but soon the boy said he didn't want to be friends with Megan anymore because he had heard bad rumors about her. A few days later, Megan committed suicide. Later, the boy turned out to actually be the mother of one of Megan's former friends. Other people have also fallen Other people have also fallen victim to similar abuse. Unfortunately, since all this takes place online, this is something that the law cannot do everything about unless this is solid hard proof, which there often isn't. And possible solution to problems that have emerged. For every problem that emerges, we must try our best to find our solution. It is unlikely that cyberbullying will never stop completely, and so children must be educated on how to receive it. Another possible solution is to the issues caused by digital communication is parents monitoring. Parents should monitor who their friends talk to on internet, and if they are talking to someone who may seems to be a threat, they should advise their children to stay away from them. And guidelines or rules. 1. If you befriend someone you do not know online, never give them any personal information that may help them to locate or identify you. 2. Always think about that you say to someone before saying it. 3. Learn that cyberbullying is and make sure you are not doing it. 4. If you are being cyberbullied by someone, try to delete him or her. 5. If the person somehow continues cyberbullying you, don't let it get to you. Remember, this is a random person on the internet who barely knows anything about you. 6. If you feel the cyberbullying making you feel a little down, talk to someone about it. 7. Parents, make sure your children fully understand and appreciate all the rules stated above and only monitor what they do online if you feel it is absolutely necessary. And that's it. Thank you.